How are you going to build up your core 1,000 fans in 30 days? I'm going to be showing you step by step, day by day, exactly what you need to do to start taking action on this goal. So the first thing that you need to understand is that what you're about to learn is actually going to give you an outline for how a lot of business in the music industry works. And by understanding this video, you're going to understand how to implement this in other areas of your music business when it comes to promotion, getting new fans, and monetizing them. So let's start from day number 1. Okay, the first few days. Day number 1, you're gonna need to define who your dream fan is. Who is the person that is gonna be the most receptive to your music? They're gonna be somebody who, when your music comes on, they are already primed and ready to hear this style of music. You want to not only think about that, you want to think about what is this person doing? Like, what are the jobs they have? What are the typical problems they run into on a day-to-day basis? What are their struggles? What are they thinking about? Where are they hanging out online? We need to get really clear on who this dream fan is. Because when I talk about attracting a core 1,000 fans, these people need to not be fair weather fans. They need to be die-hard, really good matches for your music, right? And so the way we do that is we get very specific on who it is exactly we're trying to attract with our music, who is the best fit to be the most receptive to our music. Now, the next thing you have to do, day number 2, you're going to start to tailor your content. So you're going to go in and you're going to look at all the data that you've put together. By the way, a great tool to help you with this is ChatGPT. It's free and you can start putting in information. If you give it a good enough prompt, you can figure out where your dream fan is hanging out online, what's their struggles, all these kind of different things, right? So what you're going to do is take that information from day 1, and in day 2, you're going to start to build out content. You're going to start to figure out what exactly are the pieces of content, the hooks that are going to resonate with them, the video subjects, the video scenarios, what's going to be the best fit for this dream fan that we've figured out who we're actually going to start to pursue. And then day number 3 is when you jump in and start recording the videos. So day number 2 is mostly just about planning and strategizing. Day number 3 is about implementing. So go record a bunch of videos, okay? And when I say a bunch, I mean you should probably record like 10 to 15 to 30 if you can pull it off, right? As many videos as you can come up with on day number 2, you need to go shoot all of those videos if you possibly can on day number 3. Just knock it out, save yourself the pain and misery of trying to schedule this stuff out and then it gets pushed down the road and nothing ever happens. Go out, go actually record the videos. Then days 4 through 5, so 2 days is going to be setting up the systems. We're going to be looking back at, okay, how do I actually put out content on a regular basis and have it distributed amongst a lot of different social media platforms. Now, for some of you early adopters, you early startup phase musicians, you're going to put in the elbow grease and you're going to go just manually post this on all your favorite platforms. However, I would recommend an app, I'll put the link in the description, called repurpose.io. This is a fantastic software where you can set up a workflow. Let's say your preferred platform is posting on Instagram. I know that's true for a lot of people. So let's say you want to post on Instagram, but you don't want to have to go post on TikTok, go post on YouTube Shorts, go post on Facebook, all this kind of stuff. What you can do is set up automated workflows so that as soon as you post on Instagram, it's going to go to TikTok, it's going to go to YouTube Shorts, it's going to go to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you want to send it to. Repurpose.io is a great place to go because you can actually tailor your workflows. Let's say when it comes down to Reels, you just want to use Instagram, but maybe when it comes down to like text-only posts, you're really good at Threads. So maybe you can hook up an automation to go from Threads to X. Or maybe you like doing regular posts on Facebook. You can automate it to when you just do a normal post on Facebook, it sends out to all the different social media platforms. And it's a very, very helpful tool so that you don't have to spend all your time posting. You can just have these systems set up so that it's posting all these things for you. So take day 4 and 5, build these systems out, okay? Now we're gonna move on to days like 6 through 10, okay? And it's very, very simple. Day 6, you launch content, right? Day 6, we're going to be dropping out a lot of pieces of content. I would probably recommend maybe 3 pieces of content in that one day. Just something in the early part of the day, something when people are either waking up or going to work, something at lunchtime, and then sometime after work or around dinner, right? Or you could even go late at night when people are going to bed before their next day, because that's when people are on their phones, right? So you want to post content when people are on their phones. So launch it day number 6, okay? Now day 7 through 10 is this more important part of this aspect here, or this strategy, is go now and engage. On day 6, you want to drop a lot of content, okay? And what your goal is days 7 through 10, you can either keep dripping out the content, but while you're doing that, you need to be engaging with the people that engage with you. This is crazy important, y'all. The people that take their time to like your video, if they're not followers, or even if they are, you need to be messaging them and saying, thank you for engaging with my content. I'm really glad you like the music. Thank you for supporting me. And you need to start these little conversations by DMing your fans. Do not be afraid to DM your fans in their inbox in Instagram or on Facebook or wherever, right? So days 7 through 10, you're going to be messaging your fans back, okay? Now, what happens on day 11? Day 11, we need to go out there and create something that we can give these fans that we've been engaging with. We can give it to them for free, but in exchange, what do we want? We want their name and email address. That's it. So what you do is you create what's called a lead magnet. So day 11 is creating a lead magnet, something that is going to be able to be given to somebody for free, and they're going to go, wow, that's really cool, I want that. And in exchange, they're going to give you their email address, okay? This is getting people into your email list. Some people are like, what if I just wanted to do something more optimized? Guys, this is getting people in your email list that are way better qualified core fans than someone you just flippantly get on an advertisement, right? So by messaging your fans and engaging with them that way, when it comes to day 12 through 15, you're gonna go reach back out to those people and you're gonna give them this lead magnet for free, and you're gonna say, well, you can preface it with like, hey, I've got this cool thing that I wanna give you for free. Now, what's some examples? I've got this free bundle that you can get for free where you get 2 downloads of my newest songs. Or maybe it's a digital download of an album or a EP or a CD or something, right? You know, something that you could give away for free. Maybe it's video performances of songs or things like that, acoustic versions of songs, remixed versions of songs. All of these could be good lead magnets, okay? So what do we do days 12 through 15? We're reaching back out and saying, would you be interested in this? Would you be interested in this? Is this something you'd like? Can I send this to you? All these different questions are the ones that you're going to ask to these people that you've been engaging with that have actually been, you know, responding and engaging with your posts. And continue to do this as you're posting content. People engage. If you haven't already messaged them, message them. Get them into your workflow where you're actually messaging and engaging with these people to get them into your email list, because ultimately that's where you own the information. You own the contact information, as opposed to Mark Zuckerberg owning the contact information, or Elon Musk, or whoever owns Google and TikTok and stuff. So that's days 12 through 15. Now we're going to move on to day 16. You've got these people in your email list. You've given them something for free. Now they're in the email list. Now what do? What you need to do is build a welcome sequence of emails. They're a day apart, and there's usually only 2 to 3 of them. The first email is like, welcome to the email newsletter, or welcome to the community. Thank you so much. Here's your free gifts. Okay? Now that's where you give them the lead magnet that you talked about. Now sometimes artists are out there and they have an email list and they want to go ahead and start implementing this, and they don't have a lead magnet offer they've been offering people. You can just still give them a free gift without them knowing they're going to get a free gift. That just increases the value that they're receiving from you. So don't overthink that. So day 16, we're sending out the first of a couple welcome sequences. This is to get people like, hey, thank you for joining. Here's a free gift. Your second email could be, hey, did you download the thing I gave you for free yesterday? Don't forget, And then if you do have an email 3, it would probably be a social media push, something like that. Now we're moving on to days 17 through 18. We're going to do our origin sequence. Now, typically, I like to do origin sequences in 4 emails, but for this 30-day strategy, we're going to condense it down into 2 days. Okay, now your origin story is designed to get your fans pre-framed for when you start to eventually make offers. So the point of this is you go in and you tell your origin story so that they can look at you and the trials and tribulations that you've been through and more importantly, overcame. And they can be like, wow, I want to support this person on their dream. I'm on their side so that they can succeed and do better in this business. So for instance, people want you to have slain some dragons. They don't want you to minimize the things that you've gone through. Because if you think about it like this, if someone is rich and famous, but they didn't do anything to be rich and famous, do people generally like that person? No, people generally dislike that person a whole lot because they're like, look how famous and look how well you're doing and you didn't have to really go through any trials or tribulations to get there. As opposed to the person who's like, yeah, I grew up in the slums, I had to figure out stuff on my own, I got self-educated, I took care of my mom and my family, and then eventually I was making enough money that I could be independent, and now I'm big and successful. People are like, yeah, underdog story. Love things like that. So when you tell those vulnerable stories of the things, sorry, I hit the mic there. You tell these stories where you're vulnerable and you're like, I've been through some stuff. Now when you say, I overcame it, people are like, yeah, I'm on your side, on your mission to grow in the music business. As opposed to them being like, man, you haven't really been through anything. And also some people, I know I've worked with some clients who are like, my story is boring. I haven't been through a lot of trials. I had asthma when I was a kid. I was like, that's a trial. Asthma can be a trial. It's all about how you tell the story, right? If you just tell a story of like, yeah, I grew up and I had asthma, but then I got over it and things have been really good since. That's not a good way of telling the story. Telling the story needs to be like, yeah, when I was a kid, I woke up one day and I was just like, oh, what is going on? And it turned out I had asthma. And then I was just really sad because I thought I'm not going to be able to play the trumpet, or I'm not going to be able to sing. And then all of a sudden I got a surgery, or I got medication and things. All of a sudden now it's better. You see how that's a little bit more impactful than I had asthma and then it got better. So make sure you tell your stories in a really great storytelling kind of way. Those are skills that you need to have as an artist, is being able to tell stories about your art and the things that you've been through in a way that's compelling to get your fans on your side. So day 17 through 18 is building out the origin sequence. How can we go out there, show people what we've been through, all our different trials and tribulations. Then days 19 through 20, we are now going to introduce our first offer that they can support you financially with. Now think of the momentum we've built on days like 16 through 20 here. Day 16, we actually could go back a little bit further to like day 12. We message these people. I've got this lead magnet. I totally think you should join the email list. They join the email list. They get sent the welcome sequence. Then they get sent the origin sequence where they're like, yeah, I'm on this person's side. I want them to succeed. Then they get the sales sequence. A lot of people go into the sales sequence too quick. You haven't built enough rapport. You haven't built up that pre-frame and that know, like, and trust factor between you and your fans. So now days 19 and 20, we're actually going to go into some sales. So you want to position this, since we're coming out of the origin sequence, you want to position this as, hey, in the last email of the origin sequence, here's my mission that I'm trying to accomplish with my music. Maybe you're one of those people that's like, I just want to bring more enlightenment to people's lives. Or maybe you're like more of a faith-based musician. You're like, I want to spread the message of my faith. Or maybe you just want to spread good times. Like whatever your mission is, you're going to need to emphasize that at the end of your origin sequence so that when you go into your sales sequence, you're like, okay, now here's how you help me accomplish that goal. Supporting me by picking up this $5, $10, $20, $30 offer is how you can help me on my journey to trying to do this and actually doing it well and making a living from my music. If you frame it that way, it's a lot better of a pitch than you're just going up there, hey, Billy Mays here, would you like to buy my new product today? Don't do that. No one wants to be pitched at that in their emails. They're already getting emails like that all the time from many different companies, right? So days 19 through 20, we're going to do our sales sequence. Maybe on the last day we have a little bit of urgency and scarcity. but we're just trying to sell an offer based on this pre-frame of help support me on my dream. Okay, now days 21 through 25-ish. Day 21, we're going to do what's called a Seinfeld email, which is just, if you've ever watched the TV show Seinfeld, there's an episode where there's sort of a meta irony where George is pitching to Jerry a TV show that he should go try to get on HBO, and that show is basically Seinfeld that he's pitching. But the way that he pitches it to Jerry is like, it's a show about nothing. Like, what did you do today? Well, I went and got a coffee. It's like, that's an episode, which is funny because that is kind of basically what the Seinfeld whole series is like. And so for you and your emails, you need to, like I said earlier, start building up your storytelling muscle so that you can take anything that happens throughout your week and turn it into an email to communicate with your fans. I like to use the framework of hook, story, offer. Your subject line is the hook, tell the story in the body, and at the very end, give them a call to action. Sometimes the call to action, is to something that's for free. Sometimes the call to action is something that is to a paid offer, right? But either way, you're just kind of keeping them up to date on your week. It's a Seinfeld message. So they're like, okay, so I'm getting emails from this artist who is both telling me stories about them and communicating with me, but then they're also selling. It's not imbalanced. They're getting both of those things, so they know what to expect here on out from your email newsletter. Days 22 through 25, you're going to maintain engagement with not only the people that you've been messaging that have been liking the video content that you've been hopefully continuously putting out through this whole 30-day process. You don't just put out the content day 6. You put it out day 6 as a launch, and then you're continually putting out content for the remainder of the 30 days. So I just wanted to make sure I emphasize that. And you're maintaining engagement with all the new people that come and like your content and follow you. This is very, very important. Maintain engagement. So that's day 22 through 25. It's just maintain engagement with all those people, and also maybe send some more Seinfeld messages. If you don't have any sales sequences coming up, just tell some more Seinfeld sequences. That's a great way to stay engaged with your fan base without feeling the need to pitch them anything, because you're not going to. You're just telling them a story. Okay, the final chunk of our month here to get our core 1,000 fans. Day 26, we're going to need to do some reviewing. So look at your data, look at your social media data. Look at the videos that have performed the best, right? Look at the videos that have performed the worst. Look at the platforms that perform the best. And kind of look at all this data. Now, how do you determine that? So maybe you take all the videos put out on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and you divide it by social media, and then you're like, okay, in Instagram, we got this many views. We got this many views from this social media. We got this many views from this social media. And then you go to the next metric. On the watch time, our watch time was here on Instagram, our watch time was here on TikTok, our watch time was here on Facebook and YouTube. And you go through your data and you start to figure out, this type of content on this platform at this time of day seems to do exponentially better than all the other content that we put out. So now you have useful data. So what you can do now for days 27 and 28, go and start optimizing your content. Go create more content that was like your best performing pieces of content and start to double down on the things that work, and don't worry about trying to replicate the videos that didn't work but you thought were going to be kind of cool, but I think it's cool. Well, apparently the market didn't, So test the things that you now know are proven to work. And then for our last days 29 and day 30, we're going to look at scaling. We're going to look at how can we put some advertising money behind the posts that are our highest performers, okay? So you're going to look at all your content. You're going to find the most watch time, most likes, comments, shares, all that kind of good stuff. You're going to find that piece of content and you're going to put some advertising money behind it. Now, how much should you put? Don't do anything more than like $7 a day, $5 a day, maybe even like $3 a day. Keep it real nice and small. And typically what I like to do is run a testing phase with my ads where I'll test a lot of creatives. So I'll take not just one ad that performed well, but I'll take like the top 5 ads I'll take the top 5 pieces of content that perform the best. We're going to turn those 5 into ads, and we're going to see which of those 5 perform the best. So what do? You let Meta AI's it's Meta's ad manager. Don't do it through the boost post function because that's just going to be a waste of your money. Go into Meta Ads Manager, create an ad campaign with these 5 ads with the one audience, right? And figure out which ad creative performs the best. What do? Each ad needs to get $10 worth of ad spend. And then once each ad gets $10 worth of ad spend, you can look at that small sample size without spending too much money. That'd be $50 in that example. You spend $50 and now you not only know which organic pieces of content perform the best, but now you know that once they're in a paid context, which of those perform the best. And then you can narrow it down to the best performer of the 5 moves on to the next round where you can test the audience to see how the audience, which audience is going to resonate best with this new ad creative that we've optimized. And once you find the audience with the perfect ad creative, that's pretty much the golden combo right there. You may want to test placements. So does it perform the best on feeds? Does it perform the best on stories? Does it perform the best on reels? Where does it perform the best? Explore, put that information in there as well if you feel like you want to optimize it further. Because sometimes if you really keep going and you optimize all the way to the placement tests, you can bring your costs down a lot because you're only spending money where the ad works. Okay, now, little pro tip here. Meta's AI is not going to evenly distribute your budget between all 5 of your ads in the beginning. It's going to find one that it thinks is the best, and it's going to juice most of your budget into that ad. Once that ad reaches $10 before the other ones have, turn it off so that it forces Meta's ad AI to send your budget to the other ads to get them to $10. And once they're at $10, you can shut it off. And once you've got them all to $10, you shut them all off and you can look at your data knowing, okay, this is somewhat what's the word I'm looking for? This is somewhat of a balanced test here. They've all got $10 worth of ad spend. What do my numbers look like? So the whole idea here is you go through this 30-day process. Let's kind of review what you've done so far. You've put out a plan. You've actually built a plan at who you're targeting. Who is the dream fan base that you want to target? Then you've started to create content specifically tailored to those people. And then what we do is we create a lead magnet to get the people that engage with this content to join our email list. Once they're in our email list, what we do is we follow up with them using email sequences like the welcome sequence, the origin story sequence, and a sales sequence. From there, we can hopefully generate some sales from the people that are inside of our email list that are new fans that are hopefully really like, oh yeah, I'm here to support this person on their mission to get their music around the world, right? Then once we've got a couple sales, we can still nurture that audience by telling them more about what's happening in our day-to-day life throughout the weeks. And then we keep engaging, and then we review the data to figure out what's our highest performers, where are the leaks in the funnel, so to speak, because you may go through your email sequences and find out like, oh, one of these emails has a really bad open rate. It's like, okay, well, we need to change the subject line of that email. Or it's like, oh man, no one's clicking the link in the email. Well, we got to adjust the email copy. This is the stage at the very end where you start to figure out all that stuff. And you start to figure out how to plug the holes, change the copy, change the subject lines to make everything nice and optimized. And then you can start to scale. You can start putting some ad money behind this to help it kind of grow because you've identified what actually works. Now here's the little bonus step, day 31. Since you stuck around to the end, I'm going to give you a little bonus tip, is you can automate this process. Okay, how do we automate it? There's a part of it we can automate and a part of it we can't. The part we can't automate, well, we can. I just don't recommend it because you'll pay more money and then it's a whole big deal. It's a could versus should argument, right? You can automate the content and reaching out to the fans and make it to where all you do is record the content and everything's taken care of. But odds are, manually speaking, you will have to do the research on your fan, create the content, upload the content, and reach out to your fans and give them the lead magnet. Once they're in the email list, we can automate every other step of that process. So the welcome sequence, the origin sequence, the sales sequence, the Seinfeld sequences in between the sales sequences you're going to make. And that's the thing, is there's no limit. I've given you a 30-day outline where you're going to have one offer after the welcome sequence and the origin sequence, but you can keep it going. You can, build this thing out further so that it's not just ending there. You could have a little Seinfeld email, and then maybe we tell some more stories about a song before we drop another offer. And then we maybe tell some more stories before we drop another email about an offer. And you can put as many of those in your sequence as you'd like. And then at the end of it, there's a way to automate it, especially if you're using like MailChimp or something like that, so that it's one big giant customer journey that they're gonna go through as soon as they get into the email list. So all the work you have to focus on is up front. How do I create content that's engaging? How do I reach out to those people and get them in the email list? And then from there, your work is done. Everything else from that point is automated to get them to become deeper fans of yours, to actually support you financially, and keep it going from there. And if you can determine for every 100 people in my list, I make $100, well, then we want to figure out how we can get them up to 1,000 people, because then we know for every 1,000 people we have on our list, we're going to make $1,000. So that's an average of $1 per person in your email list, by the way. Sometimes that $1 per person in your email list average can be higher than that. It could be $2 or $3 or $4 if you're doing it right. So I hope this video has been a quick way for you to get the information you need to get a 30-day plan to go out there and find your core 1,000 fans. And not only that, get those fans into your email list and monetize them so that they can actually support you to have a successful career inside of your music business. Because while doing this strategy, we may not make millions and millions and millions of dollars, but we can make enough money doing this that we can make a stable living from our music. And this is the kind of stuff that if you commit to doing, you're gonna separate yourself from 99% of the people out there, because most people are not willing. You've got the information. A lot of people have the information too, they just don't take action. So if you'd like some help taking action, we've got some one-on-one help that you can do. There's a link in the description to apply for a free strategy call with me, and we'll actually build out a roadmap for your music business if it's a good fit, you know? So fill out the application in the link in the description if that's something that's interesting to you. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button and the like button and the notification bell so that you can get this content back on your YouTube whenever we put out another video. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for, being the type of people to want to improve your music business and watching these videos. I hope it's got a ton of value for you that's going to help you out in your music business. So I'll see you on the next video, guys. Take care.